They call it disenfranchised grief, grief that nobody recognizes, nobody validates, nobody supports. And if you're a grandparent who's been cut off, you know exactly what it feels like, but staying silent only makes it worse. And today I'm going to show you some small steps you can take to kind of take back your voice. My name is Annie, and this is AlieNation. We provide resources to alienated grandparents so they can start putting their lives back together after their kids blew it up. I love saying that. Anyway, so what is disenfranchised grief? It's grief that's not recognized by society. And it actually, what does it feel like? It actually feels like you're mourning. It feels like a death, but you don't get the same kind of sympathy like if your dog dies. You know, people, if you post on Facebook that your dog died, oh my gosh, the outpouring of support. But you know, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's you're grieving the death of a relationship. You're grieving the death of somebody who is still alive, but they are just as silent as if they were not here anymore. And what the research shows, a Cambridge standalone study says that 68% of adults, grandparents who have been estranged, feel judged or blamed. And the Mayo Clinic says that grief is as painful as death, but it's not publicly acknowledged. And there's a quote from Psychology Today that says, I feel like I have to keep it secret because people will look at me like I'm a piece of crap. And I'm keeping it clean, ladies and gentlemen. So why is silence harmful? So when you keep your mouth shut and you don't say anything about it, you just internalize it, you just keep it to yourself, it deepens, it makes you feel more shame, it makes you feel more alone, and you start finding ways to blame yourself because does not make sense, okay? Your child who you birthed not speaking to you anymore is not a natural thing. It is highly unnatural, and culturally it's unacceptable. I'm just going to say that in my culture, it's unacceptable. You just don't do that. It's shameful. And why it's harmful is it blocks access to empathy and healing. So you deserve to be on a path to healing so that you can, move on, because you cannot do something. You cannot make people do something they don't want to do. Let's be honest, right? We cannot, these kids are adults and you cannot make them talk to you. You cannot make them call you. So you have to just deal with what you got and deal with what you can, but you cannot keep your mouth shut anymore. This is what I'm saying. So it also allows your children's version, and we'll call them children, it allows your children's version of the story to be the prevailing story, because they're talking to other family members, you all have mutual friends in common. So if you say nothing, all people know is their side of the story. That's all they know. So you've got to start finding it in you to talk about it. And what you can do about this is find one really good friend that you can talk to, somebody you can confide in. So like a really good friend or somebody from church, maybe your pastor, a sibling, and if you're seeing a therapist, maybe your therapist. I'm not a big therapist. I'm not big on today's therapy industry. Okay. Not the OGs, but the new ones. Okay. So you tell them, and you just talking out loud is very cathartic. You tell people about it, what's going on with you. And it kind of like, it's like purging all of that angst, that negativity, it just talk about it. It really is cathartic. And then I start a private journal. So I started journaling like from the minute it started and I couldn't see my grandson no more. I was writing every day because I just needed to get all of this stuff out on paper. Because like 1, 2, 3 years from now, you're not going to really remember like what happened. When people ask you, well, how did it start? You're not going to remember like all the details. So that's why I write it all down so that you can go back and really, really understand like, oh, maybe you'll see something in a couple of years. You'll see something in your writing and that will be helpful in your healing journey. And, just put down your dates, your feelings. At the beginning, I used to write every single day without fail. And then as I was getting all of the pieces out, it got to be fewer and fewer. And now I journal, I write when something comes across my brain, I write, and maybe about every 2 weeks or so. And then the other thing you can do is kind of reframe your shame. Just remember, alienation is a social contagion, and it's happening to millions of people. 1 out of 4 grandparents in this country, or no, I think it's worldwide. 1 out of 4 grandparents are being shunned from their family. They're being cut off from their family. And again, that's not natural, but it's what we got to deal with, right? So it's not your fault. Maybe you did something. Everybody's story is different. Okay, don't come for me. Everybody's story is different. We're same but different. Okay, we're same in that it feels the same. Where our kids are not talking to us, that's same. We cannot see our grandkids, that's the same. But how it came about, everybody has their own story. So that's why I said, write it down and just reframe your shame, and remember that it's not just you. It's not all you. You're not the villain in this story, okay? And then when people ask you, and when they ask you, oh, what happened, or oh, how's your son, or how's your daughter, and then you gotta like, oh crap, I gotta think of something to say. Then kind of practice something, like, I'm just going through some family things right now, and it's kind of hard, but I'm making my way through it. I'm figuring it out, okay? So, and they kind of get it, like, oh, she doesn't want to say, so I'm not going to pry. That's kind of how you can get like people who are just kind of nosy, get them to just stop asking. Just come up with a very vanilla statement like, I'm going through some family things right now, and it's been kind of tough, but I'm dealing with it. I'm doing okay. So, you can do that. And then so just remember that breaking your silence doesn't mean you have to go loud and proud on Facebook, right? I did, because I was at a point. I had enough already. So I decided that it was time for my public to know that my kid is doing this to me. And, I can understand if you guys don't talk for a few months. I can understand that, she's kind of keeping to herself. But 2 years is like, no, that's a big no for me. So you used up all your favors with me, Pally. So I just went on Facebook and I was just like, rah, 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 telling everybody what's going on. So, and also you don't have to be ashamed of your grief, right? So I had my grieving process. It took months after Christmas. Christmas was really, really hard. And it took me many months to kind of get over that. And it would just take one little something and it would send me flying again. But I'm dealing with it. I'm going through some family stuff right now. So this is a series. I'm creating a series. So this is the first in a series. The next episode, we're going to talk about how silence doesn't just create grief. It isolates you from the people who could be supporting you and uplifting you and helping you through this. So that's all I had to share for today. I hope you found some good things in here that you can take and, start moving forward with your grief, because living in it is not fun. So again, this is Grand Alienation. Please subscribe to our channel. If you want to learn more about what we're doing, I'm going to be starting a school community so that we can be in a private community and we can talk amongst ourselves without these adult kids trying to hone in on our action, okay? So I'll let you know when my school community is ready and open, but in the meantime, subscribe so you can get more of this series in particular and more of our content. We really appreciate you. You guys have a great day.